to the Rio. Jeannie is out today. We miss her so much, but she'll be back soon. It is Wednesday, November 11th, and we just want to start off by wishing everyone a happy Veterans Day. Today is a day where we honor and celebrate all who have served and have served our country. We want to thank you and your families for the sacrifices you make to protect our freedoms, and we mean that from the bottom of our hearts. So Now, ladies, why don't we get into some girl chat? Ladies, I really need you to weigh in on this, okay? I recently attended a party, and when I walked into the room, my mouth dropped. No one was wearing a mask. No one was social distancing. It was a buffet-style dinner where everybody was using the same utensils to scoop out, the food onto their plate. And I didn't know what to do. I'm like, should I leave? Should I stay? Should I say something? I was having an inter-dialogue with myself. It's almost like the angel and the devil going, do I stay? Do I not go? I mean, it was crazy. So me and my girlfriend who had gone with me, when we left, we were just pondering the whole thing. What should we have done? So the next day, my kids were there with a friend of theirs at the house, and I said, you guys, what would you do if you went to a party and you realized that no one was doing any protocol? And let me tell you, they were like, we would have left if we were uncomfortable. I mean, there was no guilt. There was no back and forth of, this is a good friend of mine. I really want to be there for her. They didn't have any guilt whatsoever. They were like, we should have left.
I'm here for your kids. You raised your kids right. Because let me tell you, I was there. Okay, did they make sure that you got tested prior to? Because I think that kind of changes the environment. Was there any prior protocol? No, it was just a free-for-all. See, I can't even attend events that I'm not throwing. Like, I know that we should trust other people, but I just can't take that risk with my health. You guys know that I have an autoimmune disease. My father has a heart condition. I have a mother that has diabetes. My sister has asthma. So unless we throwing this little shindig where we can know that everyone there is tested and we can feel comfortable that those are the people that are quarantining and in the bubble with us, I can't do it. Like, I literally, I just can't do it.
Would you have said something and left? Or would you?
So
I didn't know until I got there.
Like, I wouldn't even gone. Like, I'm that weird.
No, I had to go.
I actually only attended one event that I didn't throw, and it was for one of my besties, Julissa. And I was like the weirdo sitting in the corner with my mask on, and everyone was looking at me like I was crazy. But that made me feel good, because I knew that I wasn't just doing it for myself. I was doing it for the other people that I live with. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. And let me tell you,
I know, but it is so awkward.
It's so awkward because you don't want to be the one that looks like you're, singling everybody out, and people are like, oh, I'm fine, it's okay. But we just had my boy's 13th birthday party, and I made sure that we were outside, we were 6 feet apart. I even got like personalized masks, so the mask, can be fun. It said their birthday on it and their names on it. I made sure I had individual snacks. I had bottles of water so no one was going into a bowl. But none of that was thought of. And next time I know, I'll walk out, but I just felt conflicted. Lonnie, what would you have done?
Yeah, that's why I almost avoid it altogether so that then I don't have to have those awkward moments. Lonnie, would you be offended if I invited you to something I was doing and said that you had to get COVID tested? Because I know that's even gotten weird. I've actually had people say, no, that I'm just not coming. I've had people literally say, for my sister's party, if there literally were people that were like, well, we don't believe in that, we're not coming. I don't want to get, or it's an inconvenience for them to get, this thing stuck up their nose, which is wildly uncomfortable, but it's our lives, it's our health. So I did have people just tell me flat out, well, I don't want to do that, so I guess I'm not coming. And I said,
wow.
Bye then.
Okay.
People need to be reminded that this is serious business. So, I understand people want to go to parties. I understand people want to celebrate. But the thing is that you have to remember that 10 million people have tested positive in this country.
That's right.
Over 230,000 people have died. So when I look at events like that, I have to really make sure. I wouldn't mind getting COVID tested. I wouldn't mind if we all had on masks, if we all socially distanced. But I think that we're not taking this seriously, and it has to start from the top. I was reading a report that said that 20% of recovering COVID-19 patients develop mental illness within 90 days. This is a large U.S. study. This is serious.
Yes, it's true.
And it increases
Wow.
the first time for anxiety, depression, and insomnia. The reason why we're asking everyone to take this seriously, wear the mask, stay socially distanced, to wash your hands frequently, is that you don't want to get this. Don't be fooled when people say, oh, you can get it and you'll get over it. You don't know that.
Right.
Everybody has a different body type. Everybody has maybe some underlying condition. And in this study, ladies, these were old people. These were people 40 and under. So I want people to understand that. So to answer your question, Garcelle, I don't go to any parties. I would have went in, looked around, and walked out. And I would have, that's what I would have done. And so I think we just need to stay safe. You have Ben Carson, who is a doctor who works for the Trump campaign.
Who should know better.
Because they've made
didn't
it
have
political.
on a mask, and now he has COVID. So
And they made it political. And I just don't think making a statement like that is worth my life.
Right. And let me say this. I think also, not to bring Trump into it, but he got it and made it seem like it was a cold. He got the best medicines, and therefore he got over it, which is telling people a different narrative of you really need to be careful. You don't want it in the first place, let alone to have to take care of it.
And also understand, people of color, especially Black people, this affects you more. The numbers, Hispanics, the numbers are affecting you guys more than anyone.
Absolutely.
So understand that these underlying conditions are affecting people of color. So we have to take this seriously. Hopefully they're gonna have this vaccine by next year or whatever. But for now, we still have to be safe and don't stop. And
it really is like Lonnie just said. No one is talking about the after effects. No one is talking about the side effects. So many people that I personally know that were affected by this talked to me, young people in their 20s, in their 30s, talked to me that were completely normal and healthy and literally told me, you don't know, I felt suicidal afterwards. Like, these were the effects. I went through major issues with my mental health. And I'm telling you, that is absolutely true.
Yeah, so, listen to your babies, Garcelle. Keep listening to, they smart.
That's right.
I like them.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Up next, TMZ is reporting that Justin Bieber's former pastor and mentor, Carl Lentz, is that his name? Lentz?
Yeah.
Was recently booted from his famous Hillsong East Coast church because he cheated on his wife. Now, the pastor recently admitted on Instagram that he failed to live up to the standards of a church leader and understand why they were letting him go, saying, quote, I was unfaithful in my marriage, the most important relationship in my life, and held accountable for that. This failure is on me and me alone, and I take full responsibility for my action. Carl says he's now on a journey of rebuilding his relationship and trust with his wife, Laura, and his kids. Ladies, how do you feel about this and the standards that we hold our spiritual leaders to?
We hold them up to a pedestal that is so high, and they want us to hold them so high unless they do something wrong. And I feel like we worship them. We worship the house that they're in. We sometimes afford their lifestyle that they're living. And I feel like they're still human. So in a way, we're just as complicit with them, that we hold them up so high. And yet when they do something wrong, everybody's panicked, but they're human. So we have to be able to either hold them a little lower and let them be human, or hold them really high and then they have to actually live up to it. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and that is a hard thing to live up to as a human, to be flawless, I think. But obviously in this case, as he said, he's absolutely wrong, and what he did is absolutely wrong. And I'm sure that his family is feeling that more than we are. And that's what we really have to remember, is that even though we can look at that and go, oh my God, that's heartbreaking, I always think of their actual family that's going through it. But for me, obviously being raised in church and obviously being married to a gospel singer, I recognize that these people have gifts and they have talents, but they are human. Like, just like I literally told my husband, I said, yo, if I ever was a pastor, the first speech I would give on the first day of opening my church would be like, check it out. I'm just like you. I'm human like you are. I'm just as human as the person in row number 16, row number 20, row number 103. The difference is God has given me a gift to speak. And that is a gift. The same way that somebody maybe in row 14 has a gift of whatever it is, of doing hair, it's just different giftings, but we are all human and we all are not flawless. And I was like, I don't get why. And like you said, Garcelle, sometimes it is that leader that is happy to be placed on a pedestal. And then you have others that are not, that are like, yo, I'm going to use the gifting and the talent that God has given me to reach as many people as I can, but I don't want to be on a pedestal. And that's what I almost prefer. I really do believe that no preacher, no pastor, no singer is higher than I am. I really do believe the only person that we should be looking up to in that way is God and Jesus himself, because that's the only person that's going to save me. So I think we do need to reassess how we view people in leadership in our churches.
That's my point.
And more than anything, I think we also need to remember that even if they do wrong, let's not completely erase all the good that they did. And I really want to speak to that. And I was getting emotional this morning just talking about it because I know Carl, not super personal on that level. My husband knows him better than I do. But I actually went to the church Hillsong, New York, and I know the impact that he had on my life. And I can truly say that Carl was a part of me wanting to come back to church. So while it's disappointing, right? We can all be disappointed. No one is more disappointed than his family and his wife. But let's not erase the good that he did. That yes, he had a failure, but let's not completely just throw him to the curb and say, okay, great, you did all these great things, but you did this failure, and now you're completely, not in the graces of God.
Why are you getting emotional about this, like this? Why are you getting so emotional about this?
Because I'm really getting emotional about, I remember hearing Carl preach, and I absolutely do believe that God has used him because it's affected me. Like, I remember being on the balconies of Irving Plaza and being like, wow, like, his words spoke to me. I don't want to erase that because he did something wrong. Do you get what I mean? I feel like I've sinned and I have a hard time imagining just every good you've ever done or dedicating your whole life to a ministry, and then the moment you do something wrong, you're just kicked out from it. And I have heard this saying, and my husband says this obviously because of his own experience, but that sometimes the church is so good at being there for the lost or seeking out the lost, but we kind of can be terrible at showing love to those that are already found, to those that are already in ministry, those that are already in leadership. We have a really hard time. Like, it's okay for those pastors that, have fired him to stand by someone like Donald Trump and stand by him in the church. And it's okay that he's been married 3 times. It's been known that he has allegations against him. He's been accused of sexual assault. And those people, they will stand by and call Donald Trump a man of God. But this person, he's not. Do you get? So I just think that sometimes just feels so hypocritical. It can be very hypocritical that you can't choose and decide who's a man of God and who's not. That certainly won't be on me. That's for God to decide. But I think we should keep these people in prayer and, again, be there and show them love. What they did is absolutely wrong. He knows that. But I think it's
he stepped
heartbreaking.
down, and that's what you do.
He absolutely did.
He did
just take
step
a break. Take a break. You can always come back. God is a God of second chances. I know that for sure.
Amen.